This is Joy News Prime.
This is Joy News Prime. My name is Israel Olai. The bulletin can be seen right around the world and on ABN television in London. Coming up, Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference charges at government's comments on religious intolerance in schools, insisting authorities in Catholic schools will not bend to suit other religions. Ghana's presidential jet forced to make emergency landing after technical problems were detected mid-flight. The president was, however, not on board the plane. Health Insurance Service Providers Association says it will deny service to health insurance subscribers if the NHIA fails to fully settle the 150 million Ghana cedis owed its members at the end of March 4. Progressive People's Party questions President Mahama's commitment to fight corruption. And trade associations call off protests to demand more business-friendly environment. We have more business, sports and international news coming up. Stay tuned. In our very first story, the Health Insurance Service Providers Association of Ghana says it expects the National Health Insurance Authority to settle the entire 150 million Ghana cedis owed its members by the end of this month. The amount covers unpaid claims for services giving health insurance subscribers for the 7 months until January 31. A promise by the NHIA to pay the amount in full averted a move by the health insurance service providers to stop attending to subscribers last month. HISPAC, however, says it will carry through its threat this time round unless the entire amount is paid by the March end date.
Executive of the Health Insurance Service Providers Association of Ghana says the failure by the National Health Insurance Authority to pay the claims is negatively affecting service delivery, warning the situation could get worse if the claims are not paid as promised.
Somewhere January, the Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Insurance Authority, Mr. Sylvester Mensah, indicated clear that come the end of this quarter, in other words, by the end of March, the total indebtedness to all the providers would be paid. So by virtue of that, we also relying on that statement as a fact, and we are actually working with that statement. Now, if that is not done, then we will then advise ourselves the way forward.
The health insurance scheme has undergone some review over the years, with Act 852 of 2012 centralizing the operations of the scheme. But the HISPAC chief executive says this has not helped service delivery.
The changes that had come into the national health insurance system is actually causing all these things. The earlier system was actually working to the extent that it was actually going to bring everybody on board at the district level, to the extent that each and every community would own up its own health insurance scheme, such that if it goes one well, people at the level enjoys the benefit. If it doesn't work well, there is something in the law we call a bailout to that particular scheme from another scheme. For sure, those times, when even claims come, you realize that a fraction of the claim will be paid ahead of time, waiting for the vetting to be done. As soon as vetting is over, the balance is paid. But then this time around, that system is also scraped off.
Now, the National Health Insurance Authority, meanwhile, has promised to clear its indebtedness to all service providers as soon as possible. According to the Public Relations Officer of the NHIA, Selom Adonu, processes have already been initiated to clear the areas.
We made some payments, I think, last week. There's a system we run. We have the electronic e-claim system. People on the electronic system have been paid more than the other people. People on the what we call the CPC system, the Claims Processing Center system, have also been paid a certain way. People on the traditional or old system have also been paid, another way. The plan is to actually migrate everybody to the CPC system and to migrate a lot more people onto the electronic claims management system, which is actually the way to go. Claims, in that sense, are vetted electronically. So there's very little human intervention, and that is faster. Just when the claims are vetted, we try to pay as much as we can. So, people talk about owing a number of months or so much, but for people on the e-claims, for example, I know we've paid up to September, and that is quite good. Paying up to September is not very bad. Judging from where we have come from, paying up to September is not very bad. Others have been paid to August, others have been paid to July or so. So there are various categories of it, So it is not like, a universal problem or situation. There are graduations, if you like. There's been some delay. This is coming from delay in releasing funds, which we are seriously working at. And once we have some more money, we will pay. We have started payments, as I said. We made some payments last week or so, and we will keep paying.
Ghana's presidential jet was on Wednesday involved in an incident that forced a plane to abort flight. The jet was said to be on a special mission to Malabo, Equatorial Guinea, when a fault was detected shortly after takeoff from the Kotoka International Airport. The technical problems mid-air forced an emergency landing at the Air Force Base, after which a fire was observed on two of the jet's tires. An official statement said the fire was quickly put out using the plane's extinguishers before the fire service got to the scene. The president was not on board and no injuries were recorded. Lieutenant Colonel Eric Agrekwashi, who speaks for the Ghana Armed Forces, has meanwhile told the Joy News that Ghana Air Force and the Civil Aviation Authority are constituting a team to investigate the incident. The same presidential jet on December 5 last year developed a technical fault in Kumasi, leaving the president stranded in the Garden City and delaying his participation in the Farmers' Day celebrations. Now, in other news, the Progressive People's Party is questioning the president's resolve to fight corruption. This follows comments by President Mahama last week about efforts to fight the canker. At a news conference in Accra, chairman of the PPP, Ni Alotebru Hammond, described the president's words as a false notion to score cheap political points.
The president, in his State of the Nation address, only needed to have told us how he intended to concentrate his energies on how he would pragmatically deal with corruption. And all other problems, we believe, would have been properly taken care of. Anyone advocating for equity must first come with clean hands. We must raise a question on the sincerity of the president to decisively deal with corruption. Our standpoint is influenced by the apparent lack of political will on the part of the president to deal with some corrupt officials and companies on whose cases the courts have ruled in favor of the state. Many of our past leaders have shown a certain talkative posture, similar to President Mahama's when it comes to the issue of corruption. We say it's mere rhetoric because all their talk to fight corruption have only proven to be cosmetic posture, said only to score cheap political points on the false notion that they are or were doing something about it.
Top officials of the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development have set up shop in the Volta region ahead of this month's National Sanitation Day to be hosted in the region on March 7. The ministry says it intends to engage and interact with the district chief executives, stakeholders, chiefs, and the public over the next few days about Sanitation Day activities.
Deputy Local Government Minister Neil Lante Vanderpoy is leading a team touring the south. He inspected works on an 8 million Ghana cedis landfill site, an abattoir, and an ultra-modern market with about 230 stores, all in the whole municipality. Construction works on these facilities are expected to be completed by the end of 2015 and forms part of the Ghana Urban Management Pilot Project. He also inspected a CHIPS compound, an ICT center attached to a banking hall, and a post office in the whole West District. The deputy minister was satisfied with the progress of work on the various projects, but urged the contractors to speed up work to ensure they are completed on schedule. He also tasked local government staff to help fight corruption at the local level and employed chiefs to use all channels of communication to campaign on the forthcoming National Sanitation Day and also use their customary mandated powers to ensure their subjects effectively participate in the exercise.
Because it is only when we have been able to set up the machinery of development very well at our local assemblies that it will catapult and metamorphose into the national output. Let us try as much as possible to fight corruption at the local level, at the basic level, so that it can build up to the national level.
The chiefs pledged their support for the National Sanitation Day, but lamented the deplorable roads and lack of health facilities in their communities, among other challenges. Barima Osare's report for Joy News.
Joy News has secured exclusive access into some of Ghana's prisons and discovered some of the harrowing conditions in the country's reformatory facilities. Poor ventilation, overcrowded cells and bad food are just a few of the inhumane conditions prisoners live in. Seth Kwame Boateng shares his findings in a revealing documentary about the state of our prisons titled Locked and Forgotten.
As at December 2014, we have a total prisoner population of 15,014 in our custody. The capacity of our prisons in this country can hold only 9,875.
There are nearly 3,000 remand inmates in Ghana's prisons. Some have been locked up for years.
The large numbers of our prison inmates are those on remand. A number of them have expired warrants. Indeed, some of them have spent more years on remand than would have suffered if they had been convicted on the offenses they have been charged with. Why do we put people on remand for so long, denying them of their freedom? Is this the justice we want for our country?
I'm 28 years.
Okay, where do you come from?
I come from Accra.
Accra. Okay. For how long have you been here?
4 years. No police station, no court.
Why?
I don't know. Since my CI bring us for here, you know, come back. He said 4 years.
Judges and police prosecutors are greatly blamed for this.
Some are charged with things that are not offenses, or offenses that have been created by the police themselves. This is a country regulated by law. And when it comes to criminal law, offenses must be clearly postulated. They are clearly stated by law. The punishment will know their offenses. But to some extent, you can see that the police will formulate some charges that are not found in any of their statute books.
All these inmates are fed by the state on a daily basis. At least for convicted prisoners, the state can benefit from their incarceration. Some are used to do laboring jobs such as weeding and cutting of logs to generate money for the state. But for the over 3,000 remand prisoners, they cannot be used for any activity because they are only suspects and have not been convicted yet. It is costly for the state to feed and maintain a higher population of offenders. Controller General of the Ghana Prison Service, Matilda Bafwewa, says their budget is woefully inadequate.
Right, Locked and Forgotten will repeat at Thursday at 7 p.m. But Seth Kwame Boateng is with me in the studio now to talk about his documentary. Great work, by the way, Seth Kwame Boateng, and I know you've done, wonderful pieces in the past. So what motivated you to do this particular one?
Well, I had the opportunity to travel with the Interior Minister and the Controller General of the Prison Service to Navrongo prisons. We got there. I was given access to the place, like to see for myself what things going on there. So as soon as I came out, I told them that they should allow me to enter the prisons with cameras so I'll be able to tell the conditions, tell the stories for the world to know what is happening there. And I was able to convince the minister and the prisons administration, and I was given access.
How many prisons in all were you able to visit for this documentary?
Okay, so I had been to Navrongo, then I moved to Tamale, Sunyani, Kumasi, and Nsawam.
So they gave you, unfettered access to all these?
Yeah, they sent signals to them that I was coming there, so they should allow me to do anything I wanted to do.
Okay. Now I can imagine how, after doing a documentary like this and after seeing all the things that you saw, it tends to affect you. What was the one thing that, really, hit you or struck you throughout your, the production of this documentary?
Israel, I've learned that I shouldn't say it can never happen to me.
Okay.
It can happen to any one of us.
What can happen?
You can end up in prison anytime, any day, wherever you find yourself. Because some of the people I interviewed, they were traveling from point A to point C. They go to point B, there was a problem, they were involved and they were arrested. So they never got to their destination.
In other words, you're saying that, there are people in there who really never committed a crime. At least that's what they tell you.
Allegedly, they tell me that they didn't commit any crime. One of them told me somebody was fighting, or two guys were fighting, and he wanted to separate them. Police came there, and they were all rounded up.
Okay.
So there are stories like that. People are suffering, and they have various forms. It comes in shapes, sizes. You can imagine. Some have been there 10, 15, 11, 4 years. And for years, they've never been to court.
Yeah, you encountered the problem about, remand prisoners. These people who end up there without any trial and they stay there for several years.
Yeah.
Even though there's a program to try and get them out, I can imagine the experience, especially in this, kind of condition, is going to be really terrible for them.
And it's the case because they don't have lawyers. Most of them don't have lawyers. And they told me that it's such that if you don't have a lawyer, nobody comes for you. You should have a lawyer to always push the authorities or the police officers or your prosecutor to come for you, or your investigator to come for you.
Okay.
But if you don't have a lawyer, your case is not heard.
Okay.
So they are in.
But the cases of these prisoners are not just about people who, may be innocent, but they are also the case of hardened criminals.
Exactly.
Which people we don't have to show any mercy to.
Yes, I met quite a number of them, and they will tell you that they have repented. So the president should have mercy
and pardon
them. There are a number of them like in the prisons. And tomorrow we are showing the part 2 of this documentary at 7 p.m. on Joy News Channel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much, Seth Kwame Boateng. Locked and Forgotten. You can't miss that. That's tomorrow at 7 p.m. We're taking a break. We'll be back with more. Don't go away. The Catholic Bishops' Conference has asked heads of the various Catholic educational institutions to remain resolute and not feel unduly intimidated by threats of sanctions from the Ghana Education Service. Secretary General of the conference, Reverend Father Nicholas Ifriye, in an exclusive interview with Joy News' Erica Tesawat, said Muslims have no business in Christian mission schools if they are not prepared to abide by the laid down principles of the school.
The Muslims will be ready to go through education in the Catholic or Methodist or Presbyterian environment. Not all of them. And there are Catholics who will be ready to go to Muslim environment and study. You see, you go there to be educated. And the syllabus, we don't have something on Catholic that you have to by all means learn. No, you go through the syllabus. But the environment that you do that is a Christian environment, it's a Muslim environment. And that is all. That is all. So you have to accept the environment. And if you accept the environment, then you go through that environment.
So for those who can't accept, they should
why should you go there? For you to suffer. And then you come out to say, oh, they are doing this, they are doing that. It's an environment. That is why the Bishops' Conference from day one spoke against the computer selection thing. the CSSPS, they spoke against it because you deny people from choosing to go where they want to go. In the olden days, you fill the form, you take it to the school that you want to go. If you don't get it, then you decide to go to another school. But now, it's computer, fine, it is there. He goes to Koforidua, Pope John's. Yes, he selected about 4 or 5. He is taken to one of them, which is a different, the environment that maybe he didn't like. Only that he is asked to choose 4 or 5 schools. And so maybe he puts that one, the 4th one, and that is where he's taken to. And that is not his choice. His first choice is maybe where he wanted to go. He wanted to go to Tamale School. He's not taken, and so he's taken to Pope John's. What happens? So these are the issues. We have to sit down. A whole lot of the partnership in education, the computer selection thing, and then we can move forward.
Also, about 200 students of the Kimbu Senior High School were sent home today for failing to pay school and extra class fees. The headmaster of the school, Michael Jamra, who spoke off camera, told journeys the deadline for payment of fees has elapsed, and the only way to get the students to pay is to take the hard line. At school premises today, some of the students were seen loitering. They said the decision to prevent them from attending classes could affect their preparations for the West African Secondary School examinations.
I'll be starting my practicals next week, Monday.
So how is this going to affect you?
Oh, today we are doing something about the practical, but as we have been sacked, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have to go home.
You're doing practicals today?
We are doing, we are trying our hands on the practical work, yes. But I don't know what I'll do now. I have to go.
Is it that you don't tell your parents?
No, I've told my parents because they don't have money. If they have the money, they would have given it to us.
My mother didn't give me the money. Said she's not having money.
So what form are you in?
Form 1. Yes.
So how is this going to affect your studies?
If I don't learn, I can't pass, so I must sit up. So when I go home, I'll go and tell my mother so that she can give me the money. Come and pay.
I'm in Form 3.
Form 3?
Right.
Which course do you study?
I'm a visual student.
So you're starting your practicals in 2 weeks' time?
Yes, please.
So how is this going to affect your studies? And your performance in your final exam?
That's right now. Actually, they have to give us a chance to write the paper so that later we'll come and pay it.
Have you been telling your parents about this?
Yes.
And what have they been saying?
They said they've not get the money yet, so we should just tell the teachers that we should give her the chance to write so that we'll come and pay later.
Financial Division of Fonakra High Court has sentenced a 46-year-old accountant, Frank Eshant, to 20 years in prison. Mr. Eshant was convicted for defrauding the bulk oil storage and transportation company boss of 1.6 million Ghana cedis. The convict's lawyer, Captain Krabia Efadate, described the ruling as shocking.
In October 2011, suspect Frank Eshant presented to Bost a forged national service posting letter bearing the name Atu Kwame Nagate and claimed he had been posted there by the National Service Secretariat for his service. The suspect, who claimed he had an accounting background, was sent to the accounts department. After a few weeks, the suspect was detailed to deposit checks meant for Bost into their Trust Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, and First Atlantic Bank accounts. Frank Eshant, with the assistance of 5 other accomplices, opened a fictitious account with another bank using forged company registration documents. Frank Eshant, with the aid of his accomplices, siphoned more than 1.6 million Ghana cedis from Bost into the fictitious account. They then shared a lot of money among themselves. Frank Eshant gave part of his share to his wife, Bernice Eshant, to save in a bank account. Some of the funds were retrieved from the accounts of Bernice Eshant by the police, while the suspects used part of the money to buy 5 vehicles, all of which have now been confiscated.
The Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament is confident the police administration will not shield officers found culpable in a recent fraudulent recruitment exercise over the weekend. The committee Tuesday morning met the Inspector General of Police to find out how the police service is handling the matter. So far, about 14 people have been arrested and one person has been identified as the brain behind the fraudulent recruitment, which left many people in possession of fake recruitment letters stranded at the various police training colleges across the country. At a closed-door meeting today between the IGP and the Parliamentary Committee, the police vowed to get to the bottom of the case. Ranking member of the committee, Derek Odru, tells Joy News the involvement of some police officers cannot be ruled out.
A greater amount of monies have been collected from the victims, ranging from 5,000 to 7,000. If you are SS graduate, then you pay 5,000. If you are university graduate, you pay 7,000. I'm happy that he said the accounts of these operatives have been frozen now, and they cannot go into the account. We don't know how much. And they said that some monies were also found with them. They've seized them. A number of forms, the fake police forms, recruitment forms have been also been seized from them. The ranking member of a Defense and Interior Committee, I'm privileged to certain information which should not even come out, because the investigation, if I do that, I'll bring out certain information which may not assist the police in the ongoing investigation.
I just want to find out, beyond the names, the collaborators, are there some in the police service?
They've made a number of arrests. Previous arrests which were made even before this current one, there were some police officers' names mentioned in them. They've gone through, some of them are not part of this thing because they used some of the police personnel to perpetrate that act. Security agencies, some of their wards are also victims to this act that has come out.
The committee, do you have confidence in a police service and intelligence institution that allow this to happen under their watch?
We went further, and the IGP has outlined the procedure, what he intends doing and what he has been doing even to forestall future occurrence of this issue. We are very confident because what they did, now that some of them have even been arrested, we are even not happy that they did not get away with the booty.
And Accra Fast Track High Court is adjourned to April 2, a case in which an agricultural advocacy group, Food Sovereignty Ghana, is seeking an injunction to stop the trial and commercialization of genetically modified products in Ghana. The group is arguing that allowing agencies such as the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research to go ahead with testing the large-scale production of cowpea, rice and maize using GM technology, for example, would be against the law. Food Sovereignty Ghana, which filed the suit, is also challenging the existence of the National Biosafety Committee, which has since been turned into an authority. Parliament passed into law the Biosafety Act 2011, or Act 831, to enable scientists to modify the genetic makeup of organisms. This was followed by a number of debates about health implications, among others. Lawyer for the group, George Tete Wayu, told Joy News at Tuesday's ruling that they will push until the right thing is done. Meanwhile, the Food Sovereignty Ghana says the injunction on GM trials and future commercialization, if granted by the court, will give them more time to sensitize the public on the implications of genetically modified crops. According to the anti-GM group, the National Biosafety Authority did not do due diligence before approving confined field trials of GM rice, cowpea and BT cotton.
What they are doing is to go at the blind side of all Ghanaians and bring this food into the system. Because first of all, Food Sovereignty Ghana wrote to them, the committee, to bring us risk assessment of the importation of GMO seed into the country, who is doing the field trial and all that. It is mandatory. They have to give it to anybody who goes them for this information per the Biosafety Act that was passed in 2011. They were not minding us until we served them a court summons. The next day they called us to come for the risk assessment document. And subsequently, the injunction will be, case will be heard properly on the 2nd. So from the 2nd, if it is totally granted for us, then we are going to push and force them to do the public education.
Now you have the risk assessment document. Food Sovereignty Ghana, have you visited the trial site at Crops Research Institute and SARI to actually see what they are doing there?
Actually, already without the risk assessment document, you will not even know where exactly the farm is.
But I have been there. So
Yes.
why can't you be there?
I want you to know that GMO is a big politics on its own. So they can allow you to go there. But we have to have the document so that we can read that if you get to this town, it is this area and that. Now that we've got it, we are going to look at that.
The Crops Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, which is undertaking the GM rice trials, insists the project is just at the experimental stage for now. According to researchers, it will take a few more years before suitable GM rice seeds are recommended for commercialization. We're taking a break now. When we come back, we bring you business news with Abigail Adumakwenchi. All right, so it's now time for business, and Abigail Adumakwenchi is here with the business news. But before you give us all the business news, you went away for a week and you came back. And has anybody else noticed Abigail's hair color has changed?
Really, Israel? That's not part of business, you know.
Okay, you present the business. That's
great. Okay. Thanks for joining us here on Business News. My name is Abigail Adumakwenchi. Now, a planned protest called by the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, in collaboration with other business groups, has been called off. The protest, organized by the Joint Private Sector Consultative Business Forum, consisting GUTA, the Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Ghana Automobile Dealers Association, Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, Association of Ghana Industries, and the Ghana Pharmaceutical Chamber, among others, would have seen members close their shops on Wednesday, March 4. Various business associations contend they've had to call off the strike following government's decision to suspend the implementation of the proposed Ghana Conformity Assessment Program, GCAP, and the Advanced Shipment Information System, ASHI.
The energy crisis, the petroleum levy, and others, and the 14 institutions who are operating at the port of entry were some of the factors that made us came out with that strike action. The last straw that brought the commerce back was the additional layer of cost, i.e. the GCAP and the ASHI, which was recently introduced. But now that the minister have come out, that they have suspended the actions, I don't see why there was any for us to embark on the demonstration as well. We are still going to engage with them.
To reach out to the importers, be it Ghana, be it outside Ghana, that if they see any anti officers come to them, if they see any AGS and BVAC officers coming to them, they should treat them as criminals, they should treat them as robbers, they should treat them as crooks, because the people of Ghana and the government of Ghana did not give them any contract. They've told us this morning that they are with us. The government is ready to listen to us. Government have asked to call off the strike. We have called off the strike. The Minister of Trade have issued a statement stating that GCAP is on suspension. They've told us somewhere next week we will sit on round table to discuss the merit and the demerit of our issues.
The group is, however, threatening to stage its demonstration at a later date if government does not cancel outright the implementation of the GCAP, and particularly ASHI, whose implementation is slated for April 2.
We've told the government in no uncertain terms that the ASHI total cancellation, it is useless. We don't need ASHI. With GCAP, we are saying if we are going for pre-inspection, we do it. If it's destination inspection, we do it. You can't give me two slaps at the same time. So government is looking into that one. There's a saying which we told them that if nothing happens next week, something will happen. That is all we told them.
Okay, the streets again.
And maybe that time we wouldn't listen to them, because if they've taken a step in the right direction and we've taken it in good faith and have called off this impending action, at least we think they should listen to us.
Meanwhile, the Circle Tiptoe Lane branch of the Ghana Union of Traders Association (GUTA) is not entirely abandoning the planned protest. An executive member of the branch, Terry Davis, says they intend to adopt a different approach to get their grievances heard, including a massing up of their members at the Ministry of Trade on Wednesday. He spoke to Joy News' reporter Emmanuel Ante in Accra.
I am at Flex Phones, a member of the GUTA group in Circle Tiptoe Lane here. I will speak to one of the management, Terry, who will tell me the stance of the group here. Yeah, hello Terry, yeah, welcome to Joy News.
Okay.
All right. Now, we are told you have called off your... Can you tell us why?
We've called off the strike action because our leaders, GUTA leaders, have asked us to hold on for the meantime as they negotiate whatever our grievances with the ministry. That is why we are calling it off, but not entirely off. We will still go ahead and do the normal thing, the simple way we want to do it. Just that we wouldn't do it the way we wanted it before.
How do you intend to do it this time round?
Is to organize ourselves at one particular point. It can be in the ministries whereby we can talk to the minister for the sector, the communication sector, so that they can also do something for us. That's what we want to do. Not to drive through town demonstrating like that again. That's what we want to do. We want to present our issues just at one place.
So what happens next after this action? Do you believe that your grievances you're talking about is going to be addressed by the minister?
Definitely, we expect it to be addressed since the government calls itself a listening government, and the minister will meet the minister. So we expect that they will do something for us.
Well, that was Terry. He's a member of the leadership here in GUTA in Tiptoe Lane, Accra here. Now, he believes that this particular demonstration is still going to go on, but this time in a confined place, not demonstrate through the streets from one point to the other, but they are going to gather at one place to hold the demonstration. Well, we will be bringing you updates on this particular matter. Emmanuel Ante reporting from Tiptoe Lane, Circle, Accra.
Quite an interesting development there, but away from that, the Ghana Investments Promotion Center has pledged its resolve to grow more entrepreneurs in Ghana. The center, in launching the 2015 edition of the National Entrepreneurship Seminar, says it will also help in equipping local industries with the requisite manpower to foster joint venture partnerships.
Ghana's entrepreneurs are known to encounter numerous challenges, amongst them the lack of requisite skills and business competitiveness, as well as the marginal loss of investment. The National Entrepreneurship Seminar was therefore mooted to address some of these challenges. Chief Executive of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Barima Osei, speaking at the launch of the 2015 edition of the seminar, intimates that her outfit is focused on equipping the domestic business community, particularly young professionals, with tools to compete in joint business ventures and international business partnerships.
Seminar. We at the Investment Promotion Center genuinely believe that seminars such as this are necessary because of the push from a policy perspective to increase the supply and quality of entrepreneurial and management skill sets. They're fundamental to our ability to evolve and strengthen the critical areas of development for the economy of our country. And if you reference manufacturing in particular, because we have so many enterprising, innovative, young Ghanaian professionals, we really want to support an effort to build their capacity to explore all the investment opportunities that are available. And that is where this partnership becomes particularly important. As we seek to attract high-quality investments into the country, it is important that the domestic business community, particularly young professionals, are in a position to meet the requirements for joint venture partnerships.
Entrepreneurship in Ghana is documented to be the lowest patronized business venture, accounting to the growing rate of unemployment among the youth. Barima Osei says this trend relates much to the volatility of the business landscape and has therefore called on young business owners to reposition their business strategies in order to survive in the sector.
entrepreneurship is really about passion. I don't think anybody could have articulated it better than Helga. If you're not passionate about what it is you're seeking to do, there's no need to enter into the venture. And it's not about money, really, because just as quickly you make it, you can just as quickly lose it.
The National Entrepreneurship Seminar is set to take off on the 11th of March in Kumasi.
Right, so we have to defer debate about your hair till later. Okay, but it turns out there's been a little debate, you know, about the color of your hair. Can you tell us exactly what it is? Because we've been arguing. Some say red. Some say...
I don't know what viewers are seeing out there, really, but it's wine. Yeah.
It's wine.
A new look for
me. George is going to come up next, and I'm going to ask George what color it is. But thank you very much. Yeah. Abigail Aduma with the business. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Right, so George Ajudunia is here with the sports, and you know, he was also
black.
Part of the debate about.
This
You
black.
said what?
This black actually.
No, not
mine. I know about hairs.
Yeah, hair color.
I think it's wine.
Wine?
I stay with wine, but I think it's a story about
Well, the viewers are going to be talking about whether you got it right or not. But
I think it's wine.
It's wine?
That's what I think.
Anyway, you think
wine, brownish.
Brownish? Earlier you said mauve. You said mauve.
Let's do sport. I'll be back to that. I think it's a little story about that. But let's start sport now. And the Ghana Football Association President Kwesi Nyantakyi has told Joy Sports they will extend the contract of physical trainer Jamie Lawrence and video analyst Gerard News following the impressive role played at this year's AFCON in Equatorial Guinea. Jeremy and Gerard joined the team ahead of the tournament on the recommendation of Black Stars coach Avem Grant. According to FA President Nyantakyi, these guys were useful during their stay with the team and wants them to stay permanently.
The inclusion of these professionals has proven to be a very useful experience, and so the Football Association is considering to make it a permanent feature of the technical team so that we can enjoy the benefit of the services of these people, and we will even extend their services beyond the Black Stars to the 6 or so other national teams.
So they'll be renewed, their contracts will be...
Exactly. We're going to also consider training local people to acquire the needed expertise in this otherwise barren area. We don't have many people in Ghana with that kind of expertise.
Football now here in the country, and Hearts of Oak have dispelled rumors the club has sacked assistant coach Stephen Abugri. Reports arrived the Premier League giants had parted ways with the former Ken Faisal coach for disloyalty to Herbert Addo, who's a head coach. However, corporate affairs manager Joe Addo explains the club has not fired any member of the technical team.
What happened was we had a management decision on our coaching staff, our technical team, and we thought it would be best, you know, to improve our team. We all know the results that we were having, House of Oak was having, wasn't comforting to the least. It wasn't encouraging. So we wanted to change things around to see if we can get improvement in our team. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, you know. But some people took offense to that and started reporting wrong things on the airwaves. And I think it's about time we come out to clarify exactly what went on. Our head of our technical team is Herbert Addo, as you are aware. His assistant is Stephen Abugri. And then we have another coach, Dauda Lutrot, who combines assisting the two coaches and also works with our under-17 team. Dauda Lutrot, as you know, is a big-time coach. He is the coach of the local national team, the Black Stars. So having him on board is a very, very valuable thing for Hearts of Oak. And when things weren't going well, we thought that if he comes to assist Herbert and move Abugri to the under-17, maybe we'll change our luck and change our course. And that's what management we did. And since then, we've seen improvement in our change. So that is what happened. There were no fights here. There were no, quarrels and all that is being said in the airwaves. So the simple fact is we moved coaches around.
Let's get into the world of boxing, and boxer Tego Asamoah would continue his roadmap to World Championship in Accra when he headlines the Baby Jet Promotions bill at the Accra Sports Stadium. Tego, who has won all career fights since losing on his professional debut, will fight Jobert Derlis Reyes of Philippines for the vacant WBA International Lightweight title. Ashi, on the other hand, squares up against Ronaldo Porteas, also from the Philippines, in the 10-round International Lightweight clash. Samuel Lenim is CEO of Baby Jet Promotions.
The night is headlined by Emmanuel Tego, the Game Boy, and Jobert Reyes of Philippines. And it's also supported by another wonderful bout between George Ashi, the Red Tiger, and a boxer who has been here already before, Ronaldo Porteas. This bout is scheduled to take place on the March 27th, on Friday, March 27th, at the Accra Sports Stadium, at the lawn tennis court. And we are going to open our gates at 5 p.m. This event is to tell the whole Ghana and corporate world that boxing has come to stay.
Well, now that's boxing in the ring. Now we're going to talk about boxing on the basketball court. In the NBA, most fights involve guys trying to act tough, while waiting for their teammates to jump in and separate them before they actually have anything to do. Not so much in Spain. This is from the Laboral Ceuta and Bilbao basket game, which was a blowout. It was a 16-point game with 10 seconds left when a Bilbao player went for the bucket. The hard foul came, then things escalated quickly.
What's that all about?
On the basketball court, they were having boxing out there. You often don't see that happen. I'm not sure there's going to be any boxing here in the studio. Well, that'll be all for sports.
Thank you very much, George.
Joining us with international news.
Sure.
You have a good night.
All right, before we go, that debate about Abigail's hair color and all that, I'm reliably informed by the experts in the newsroom that the color is actually burgundy. Anyway, before we go a quick run through our top stories, the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference has charged the government's comment on religious intolerance in schools, insisting authorities in Catholic schools will not bend the rules to suit other religions. Ghana's presidential jet was forced to make an emergency landing after technical problems were detected mid-flight. The president was, however, not on board. The Health Insurance Service Providers Association says it will deny service to health insurance subscribers if the NHIA fails to fully settle the 150 million Ghana cedis owed its members at the end of March. The Progressive People's Party has questioned President Mohammed's commitment to fight corruption. And the various trade associations in Ghana have called off a protest to demand a more business-friendly environment. That'll be all for the bulletin. My name is Israelite. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good evening.
This is Joy News Prime.